going to take a look back at what's happened between the Christian apologetics community online and the Kemetic folks online. Those are the Egyptologists. That's part of the conscious community, sometimes called Kemetic spirituality or Kemetic spiritualist, and sometimes referred to as Kemetic science. A couple other names you'll sometimes see here and there. But to do that, really, who else am I going to invite on but the one, the only BK Apologist?
What up, man?
That's because today we're going to run it back. You and I are going to relive the history that was 10 years ago and a little bit before and a little bit after. BK,
it's been that long?
It has been that long. Not you and I, but these Kemetic Christian and Hebrew Israelite debates. Yes. Now, you are writing now. Tell people about your Substack, because you're dropping like a couple articles a week, and I'm liking them all. I want people to subscribe to this resource.
Yeah, Substack at BK Apologist. I drop an article every day at noon, Monday through Friday. I take the weekends off, but Monday through Friday, you want to get your apologetics fix during your lunch break, I drop an article every day at noon. So just look for me at Substack, BK Apologist.
And take the weekends off, and yet here you are, working hard on a Sunday night. I'm sorry, messing up your life.
Nah, it's good, bro. It's good. It's okay. It's okay.
And what are some recent articles you dropped? I had one that I really liked about Valentine's Day. And what are some other ones, people, so they can get a flavor there?
Okay, let me look real quick.
And he's also, as you guys know, on YouTube, you got to subscribe to BK Apologist. Of course, that stands for Brooklyn Apologist, at BK Apologist.
That's right.
And does great shows. Sometimes he's solo. He's always got presentations. And I'll tell you what, if I need a resource and I can't find it, I don't hit up AI. I don't go to Google. I go to this guy right here. I say, Alfredo, can you find this? And somehow, often within minutes, he's like, I got this. But what are you been writing on over there?
I got stuff like, slave-holding religion versus Christianity, the Serapis hoax, your Valentine isn't Roman. I wrote about Sinut of a Treep. Is Islam self-refuting? Is your identity based on a misreading? Was Kemet pro-black? I've written on King Azana. Caesar was a fraud. Paul's letter as anti-imperial sabotage. Things like that.
Good stuff. Shout out to the live chat. We got one and only Nate 2D2. We got Henry Rothenhouse. We got William. And yes, we do remember Polight. William is talking about, he's going way back. And he's also asking about Dr. Ivan van Sertima. What do you know about him, BK?
Well, he's famous for writing They Came Before Columbus. And the theory was that, before the Native Americans, the Africans were in America. But, he's been debunked for quite some time now. So, but that's what he's known for.
Do they still use his work or the ideas from his work?
Well, yeah, a lot of how do you call these guys? The Abydos, the guys who believe that there were no Africans in America. There was no African slave trade, that Africans would have always been in the Americas. They might use some of his work. So.
And then also he brings up William. So it's good to see some of the audience is familiar with these things. I remember the Polight guy. He was very popular in the conscious community. He used to hang with Sonetta.
Big time.
We know there's controversy, but before the controversy, why was Polight so important within this realm?
Well, he was just a brilliant orator. He was very charming, very charismatic. He knew how to pull an audience in. Regardless of how, inconsistent or incoherent the argumentation might have been, he framed it in such a way that was so compelling. He had a really great voice. He knew the cadence of his voice. He knew how to use his cadence, and he was just, and he's very much a entrepreneur. He was always selling books. He had his little New Covenant, right, organization. So he was very much a business oriented individual who was able to convey whatever he was selling in a very compelling manner. So he was trying to sell.
You might even say that Polight helped blow up Sonetta's channel in a positive way, gave him numbers, huh?
Absolutely, he was definitely the main draw out of the rogues gallery of individuals that Sonetta had. Between him, Shaka Amos, you had Red and Blue Pill at the time. You had a few people. So, but Polight was definitely the main draw.
And you've been following the Kemetic battles. Let's just talk about the online. We're going to talk about on the street in a second here, but online since how long, BK?
Oh gosh, how long have I been on YouTube now?
Well, I mean, you personally told me you came out in 2019, but I think
Right.
as far as your own content, but I know from my understanding you've been paying attention at least since 2015. I don't know if you went back farther.
Yes, yeah. Before the Kemet on trial that we're going to talk about, before all that, I was definitely, before that I was already watching.
And the first time you saw Kemetic representation in person was in Brooklyn, downtown Fulton Street.
Yeah. I
Explain.
mean, it's very much part. Yeah, it's very much part of just the Brooklyn experience. You always saw these guys downtown Brooklyn. You saw the Nuwabians. They had a table. Then you had the black book sellers, and a lot of them had these various different books that we would now see online. That I got a feeling you're gonna pull out a few.
Well, I got something better than that, but go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish the sentence first.
Yeah, so it was very much part of the culture. It's as you're going down to buy a pair of kicks, you will see these guys selling their books and everything. So then you got the black book owners. They had their little shops, and you will see the same, the Hermes Trismegistus books and Illuminati 666 books and the book the church don't want you to see.
Right. It's always that.
Stuff. Yeah. So
now you mentioned the Nuwabians. We're not really going to talk about them a lot today, but what's the leader of that organization? What's his name?
Malachi. Well, he had many names, but the main one was Malachi Z. York.
Did they sell his books at those tables?
Absolutely.
But,
and it was weird because I didn't understand it at first because he would have his version of the Quran, his version of the Torah, his version of, the New Testament. So he would make his own versions of all these holy books. So.
But did they sell this, BK?
Oh, wow. That I did not see. This guy got the doll. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
His legs fell off in the package.
The Malachi doll.
His legs are in the bottom of the package.
I mean, that's apropos because most of his arguments got cut off by the knees, right? So that makes,
Hey, BK,
Naya Malachi.
I heard you were having trouble sleeping. And so as a donation to your ministry, I was going to send you this.
Nah, I'm good. Hard pass. I'm okay. I'm all right. You can hold that.
I mean,
hold that for me. You can hold that.
I mean, look, it's got the symbols on the side. It's got the eye.
Scarab. Right.
It's got the dung beetle.
You can hold that for me. You can hold that for me. Yeah.
Are you sure, man? I mean, this is a one-of-a-kind.
I'm pretty sure. And that's why you need to have it.
What if I told you that David Wood gave this to me as a wedding gift?
No. For real? That's hilarious. That's hilarious. So I guess you're going to put that right next to your comforter doll, right?
I've been looking for that everywhere.
You don't have it? I always thought you always had it.
No, very, very difficult to find. Yeah, very difficult to find.
Wow.
Blackjack mentions, of course, he's locked up in federal prison in Colorado. It's true, at the Supermax prison. Now, the thing, though, with him is people don't understand, because he did all these different paths, that you would really have to align him as far as some of his ideas for a large part of his career with the Kemetic community.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they literally built a little Egypt in rural Georgia.
Tamaray. Yeah, Tamaray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Polight should release an autobiography called I'm Polight, or Impolite. Got it. Okay, yeah.
Well, according to him, he's written over, what, 4,000 books?
Oh, we got to see these. Sue Remka says, let's see what's going on in here. What's up, Vocab? Good to you as well. And Brother Dre, you're right. This is a good topic. And then Blackjack mentions how Polight also debated Tazariak. That was one of the first videos between these communities I saw, was that Polight versus Tazariak cross the line video.
Right. Well, that's where Tazariak gets the name of his podcast. Cross the Line podcast came from that interaction they had on 125th Street.
Yeah. So everyone, what we're going to do here today is introduce you to a world that you may not know that's important to understand certain apologetic issues. And if you do know the world, we're going to rewind and find out what's happened and what's happening and what's going to happen. And so this is going to be an important conversation, also a little fun, and at times not because of us, but because some of the videos we're going to play a little wild. And so let's start with a kind of a chill video. This video is where you've got all these different Hebrew Israelites sitting down at a table with all these different Kemetic guys. And what it is it's where they're talking about the rules for the debate they're going to have. So it's called rules of engagement. And it's very interesting. There's so many people that are here, and they're all kind of legends within this world, if you will. William says Sarah Sutton said he was wild too. You know, he's still putting out videos, but I don't see him.
Yeah, he's still out
anymore.
there. Yeah.
And he went by
Well, he don't really.
right? Go ahead.
Yeah, what Sarah Soon said. Yeah, he don't really affiliate himself with Netta anymore. But no, he's currently right now. He got videos right now on YouTube. Like he hasn't stopped at all.
Have you ever talked with him?
He's very current. Have I ever talked? No, never.
What would be your opinion if I reached out to him for a discussion for him and I to have? How do you think that would go?
I think that would be very interesting.
Do you think we could?
Pretty hilarious.
Do you think we could get anywhere though? Is it possible anything good could come of it? I mean, I'm serious. Is it possible?
I mean, I don't want to actually close the door on anybody, having a understanding of the gospel, but for a lot of these guys, it is part of their hustle. They have a lot to lose if they were ever to acquiesce to the gospel. They just do. This is how these guys make their bread. So could he? Sure. It's always possible. Is it probable? Nah, I don't know.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
A chance, yes.
Shout out to Sean Kelly for the first super chat of today. Sean Kelly, thank you for supporting this channel. We do niche apologetics, and so it really takes people like you who say, I want to see content on stuff that's lesser discussed. Be discussed. And sometimes apologetics is just keeping track of what's happened, meaning you got to understand the history of a thing. And so we're going to do that. So let's watch a little bit of this video. We're going to kind of skip around a little bit of it, but what I do at a certain point is kind of say, okay, here's who's who. Give me a second to line this up, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Kemet on trial pre-debate rules of engagement. It's a very fascinating cast of characters. First off, that is the flyer. That's the flyer for the main Kemet on trial debate, because there was a number of ones. And anything to point out about this flyer, BK? I don't know if there's anything you want to point out.
Yeah. Well, behind Shaka Outmost, that's casual from the hieroglyphics crew. If you're underground hip hop, he deals with the Kemetic community. He's usually known as Smash Rockwell. But that's casual. If you're a 90s underground hip-hop fan, casual. Dope lyricist. Pretty cool guy. Me and him have had some really cordial back and forth on Twitter, even before I got my YouTube channel. Didn't realize he was a part of the whole conscious community at the time. But amazing lyricist. So shout out to him.
I always remember the line where he goes, "Casual has passed you all."
Right.
Yeah, that's a good. I don't remember the name of his program. It's like he's sitting on that couch, but I'm trying to remember the name of that program. Oh, look, here is Kalya.
So,
What?
yeah, so that vocab, you're the devil. Your beard still won't save you.
Kalya 8 says, vocab, you're the devil. Is this a GMS member? By the way you talk, my guess is you're a GMS affiliate, if I had to guess. And then he says, your beard still won't save you, vocab. That's good because I've seen some of the people who are Hebrew Israelites who don't have a beard. Okay, so let's watch a little bit of this. And
one more. So the guy behind Daniela, Nasi Yasovel, he got into some legal trouble as well, dealing with some children, allegedly.
I didn't know that,
that's why
actually. That's why we don't hear from him much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, I see General Hashar. I briefly kind of saw him in Times Square. And I see Gabar. I talk to him every now and then. I see Daniela. I debated him once. So those are the 4 Hebrew Israelites. Then we got Shaka Atmos, or as BK says, my new best friend. And then Polight there in the front. So let's take a look at some of this here. So this is, I do like the way this video looks. Once they get going. Oh, one thing that's interesting about this video, you'll notice if you look at the background, it's in a church. And I asked Gabar about that. And what it was is that GOCC was actually renting a church for their meetings. So they used the church that they were renting to do this rules of engagement session, which is really wild if you think about it. Imagine you're a church and you're letting, 30-some heretics come in to discuss what they're going to do.
I want to say assalamu alaikum. I want to say peace. I want to say black power. This is a serious debate. Kemet is on trial.
Hotep to everyone here. I say, Inejarat, Gertu, Inejarat, Aku, Inejarat, Abe.
What are we accomplishing?
No one attacks something that is not a threat. Anything that is not a threat, you simply ignore and you walk away.
Now, that's important. Shaka Amos, why do you guys love to attack the Bible then so much? What he's saying is this is why the Hebrew Israelites are attacking them. So again, if you're watching this is 2015, this video. Christians aren't really involved. They're essentially voiceless. I don't think there's any Christians at the table. There may have been some at the audience. Alfredo, do you know any Christian that was involved with any of this at all in any way?
I mean, no. I mean, I was starting to creep in a little, but because I was actually at the debate that Jabari had with Divine Prospect. I was at the quote unquote shrine to see that debate.
The shrine of my
so, right. So this is before I was BK.
Brother.
BK Apologist did not exist. So I was still just being a Christian, just trying to figure out how to, build friendships to see if I could convey the gospel. So, But
to me,
no, there wasn't any, yeah.
To me, you've always been BK because there's continuity of personhood. See.
So just by nature of the veracity of the attacks against me,
nature of the veracity of the attacks against me, I like Shaka Amos, but I'm not sure if he knows what he's saying. Guys, do you know what veracity is? Because veracity means truthfulness. So he's saying by the nature of the veracity, by the nature of the truthfulness of the attack against me. Now, my guess is he meant to say something like vociferous. The nature of the, because the reason I say that is because when I talk to him, he likes to say vociferous. Or some other, maybe he meant ferocity. We almost speak, but it's just funny because it ends up, it ends up coming out. Well, are you saying it's true there, brother?
that I'm on my job and that I have done my act, which is what I came to do.
Everybody in here, identify everybody in here, for the most part, as a member of the same race, until the ideologies make us different. As far as I'm concerned, I'm looking at my brothers and sisters until they tell me otherwise. So I'm here and I'm happy to be in this place because they didn't think we would make it this far to try to sift through the truth. So with that said, in regard, I'm my brother Polight, head of the crown, illustrious, supreme grand apperception of our new covenant community.
Wait, did he just give himself all those titles?
Yes.
Did he say he
Yes.
was Supreme Grand God or something?
Grand Poobah, all that, you know. Autumn Ray, he's the Nesut. He has many names. He has many names.
It's okay, Nate. He can say I'm the devil. Oh, you didn't like it, Nate, because it's all caps. He says I'm not a GMS member. You're a devil. Kaliah and Hebrew Israelites, and we're going to get it to Christians in a little bit, but are you able to just stay on topic? Well, it'd be awesome if you could. Cajun says, love the hats, gentlemen. Men need to start wearing stylish hats again. Well, BK is, he's doing it. Kaliah says, I'm the Israelite that rebuke you and logic for, what is that symbol? I can't tell. For what?
For being a camel?
For being a
Well,
rat? Oh,
sheep?
oh, for coon. I think it's a coon symbol or something. Is that a raccoon?
Yeah, so that means vocab's black? 'Cause I thought coons were just black folk that were sellouts. So congratulations, vocab. You made it, baby. You melanated. Let's go.
Man, I've been melanated, hyphenated, man, but never dominated,
Caffeinated.
always celebrated, and by those who hate me, tolerated. But I tell you what, my mind has been emancipated.
Wow. Okay.
He seeks
All
the
right.
face of the ancestors, and it was a Hebrew versus Kemetic debate. And then we got, in a Flash TV says, two big pseudos. I think he means the
Is it-
people were watching.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. What
That is the
Our own
topic.
language,
Really?
we do our susu. We have our own land. We have our own insurance company. We're doing pretty good for ourselves. And we're dealing with the most practical things in this world, which is food, clothing, and shelter. That's right. Those are the things that we make subscriptions to. Then from time to time, we may speak about our beliefs, but it is not a biological imperative. Therefore, we don't put that first on the table as far as priorities are concerned.
It's true. You don't need to debate to live, I suppose. But it's why not? People, they're funny the way they got to say stuff. This is not a biological imperative. But the funny thing is, all the stuff that he is able to do, it's because he does speak.
But, right. It's the poetry. It's the poetry behind how he's.
Yeah. That's like the point. Yeah. This is Ron Shields, Divine Prospect.
I'm Brother Divine Prospect, also known as Sapaya within the Hebrew Israelite community. I'm coming out here tonight because I wanted to build with the brothers and just to hear what we have to say on both sides. On today, Kemet is on trial, but I think ultimately the judge and the jury is you guys out there. Say ultimately is that the reason why we have Kemet on trial is because we want things to move away from sensationalism, from romanticism, and get down to the facts to see what worked, what didn't, and this is what we're addressing on here today, being on the offensive now on the Hebrew Israelite war mission.
First, I want to say Shalom, which in Hebrew means peace. Everybody in the house, my name is Daniel Allah.
By the way, I mean, I kind of like what Divine Prospect said overall. You know, it's very pragmatic.
Yeah.
It's interesting, though, because he didn't, I mean, I imagine if you asked him, he would say, but he didn't really say, we need to, like, discover what's true or anything. He didn't really focus on the veracity. He's focused on practicality. But nonetheless, I understand that's a primary concern of his. But, I mean, what he said was relatively ironic. Now, this is Danya Allah.
The priest of the Alliance of Israel camp, and basically I'm going to be brief. I'm not going to say a whole lot. The reason why I'm participating in this event is because, you know, I sit at home and I watch these debates, and I hear a lot of things said that I know are not accurate about the Hebrew community and about history in general. And I get sick and tired of sitting at home and screaming at my computer screen when nobody can hear me, when I could be sitting in front of the audience or sitting next to the person making that statement and saying what I gotta say in public. So I'm pretty much participating in this debate to get down to the facts.
Shalom. Greetings to my forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. My name is Gabalia Shahara. I'm from the elder of the Gathering of Christ Church, actually the regional elder. The elder of the Supreme Elder of this.
Okay, I'm going to kind of just go through this a little bit. I didn't put the music there. So the music is just there. So I apologize.
Also, before Hassad, again with Yasafel, Nasi Yasafel, he's actually kind of fringe even for the fringe Hebrews.
Okay.
Because he has a very esoteric interpretation of Torah. So even though his take on Torah is very, very new age, very esoteric. So
which guy are you saying though? Sorry.
Nasi Yasafel.
The guy
that was yeah.
I don't know much about his beliefs. What was his situation?
I mean, it's I think he was Tanakh only. I'm not sure, but even within the Tanakh only community, he would be considered fringe. It was very, very esoteric. The quote unquote secret understanding, very Gnostic.
Okay.
Hermeneutic he had when it came to the scriptures.
Now, how do you keep track of all this stuff, BK?
I used to watch these guys all the time, man. I used to watch them all the time. So,
see, the reason I bring that out, y'all, is this is why people like BK are so essential, because they are able to catalog different spokespeople of this type and understand their beliefs and the nuances. And if he doesn't, then he'll watch videos and take notes and understand and read, and then he will understand. And so that's why you guys need to subscribe to his channel at BK Apologist and his Substack, which is bkapologist.substack.com. Support his work. And I'm glad that he's here today. Veckel, shout out to Veckel. Veckel was one of the OGs in the Hebrew Israelite Christian debate sphere, which we're going to talk about coming up soon. Not today, but Veckel was a real OG. Daily Dose says vocab's about to expose some facts. Well, maybe, but I think I'll let BK do all the heavy lifting. Nah, but okay, let's play a little more of this. I'm gonna kind of skip around and just kind of see some of their barbs at each other, because there's parts where they stand up here. There's Zion Lex, there's General Hashar, and number of other. There we go.
So don't get mad at me because I didn't say something that's not true yet. If I say something false, you can stop me and I'll stand corrected right now. If some of you don't say the white man is not the devil, and some of you do say the white man is the devil, correct me on this panel. Okay, so what I'm saying is, the point that he just made is asinine. Because he shot over here, but he really shot two of his brothers that I know of. So we're going to move forward now, and we're going to deal with some common sense. Don't throw no shots until you understand who you're sitting next to. All right. So,
hold on. Relax. Everybody,
be quiet.
I know it's going to be hot.
All right, wait. And then the next thing you know, we have our brother.
Now, Polight's point was that the Hebrew Israelites are all sitting together and they're debating Kemet, but they disagree about some fundamental things. That's his point. Now, you may be watching this and saying, what's going on? Well, this is not the debate. This is where they're discussing the rules of engagement. It's like the pre-debate. So, but they're still going to have a little bit of debate in there. But, BK, it's not like the Kemetic guys agree on everything. I mean, come on. Just like
absolutely
panel.
not.
What are some of the disagreements you might see amongst different Kemetic practitioners?
Well, the greatest example would be Brother Reggie, who you first saw sitting down, who said Black Power and Peace. There's him and Jabari. They are actually two great representatives of the Kemetic community, because Jabari is an actual spiritual practitioner. He's a Kemetic priest. He has his own shrine. He believes in the supernatural. He believes in the pantheon of the different deities. Now, he might have a different take. He might talk about different energies, whatever, but he's very much a spiritual practitioner, whereas Reggie represents the part of the Kemetic community that are not very spiritual at all, but they see it as a way to, as a benchmark towards Black power and Black justice, and using Kemetic the literature as a form of weaponization politically for the advancement of Black people. So they both have Kemet in high regard, but they use it for two very different things. Now, Jabari would also agree from a political standpoint of using the Kemetic belief as a stepping stone towards unity and Black empowerment. But Reggie would not see it as a spiritual stepping stone. So they actually represent both halves, you know, the more spiritual practitioner and the more political Black empowerment individual.
Well, BK, why would Christians stand against this? It sounds like you're just saying that they want empowerment and enrichment for the community. Why would a Christian be against any of that, BK? What's the problem with these apologists?
Because the end goal for the Christian is to be right with God. Now, once we do that, once we focus on the gospel, the side effects are, you know, unity, helping one another, serving, loving, right? But that comes once we make Jesus Lord. You know, a lot of times we put the cart before the horse. So
the subtitle of this book, would you say that's an example of what you're talking about?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's about reminding people of color that they too are also images of God, that we are also the Imago Dei. You know, so the Kemetic community is responding to, I believe, an actual issue. It's just their response is not conducive. It's just not. Whereas I believe Christianity is. So.
Chapter 8 of this book is on Kemeticism and Christianity. Great chapter. I encourage you guys to get this book. So there's a chapter in this book on it. And actually the next chapter by Sarita Lyons deals with some of the issues of feminism in the conscious community. So there's at least 2 that are about what we're talking about today. So that's a great resource there. We have on the panel Danya Allah. Danya Allah is the leader of a Hebrew Israelite group called the Lions of Israel. And William said that Priest Don is ready to jump on him. Now, what it is there had been a lot of back and forth on the streets and to an extent online between Kemetic folks and Hebrew Israelites. And I would say a large part of the orchestration of that had to do with Sonetta. What do you remember about those days, pre-Kemet on trial events? What do you remember about those days?
Well, I mean, it's going back to what you said about attacking something that's a threat. You know, banging on Christianity became a cottage industry of sorts for them. You know, the way to get views, the way to get people to tune in was watching them bash Christianity. You know, so they would lead with that, and then eventually they'll start talking about what they would consider the right ideology to subscribe to. But no, they were very much doing that, and it just so happens that both the Kemetic and the Hebrew community, though they disagree with one another on various topics, the one thing they both agreed on was bashing Christianity. So for Sonetta, it was like a trifecta. It's like I get 2 different ideologies banging on Christianity, and at the same time, they get to bang on one another. So that just makes for great content for him.
For those who don't know, how would you explain Sonetta and his role in all of this?
Sonetta, he's very much a kind of like the promoter of the community. He's the one that, for a lot of people, he's like the introduction for a lot of people to what we're calling the conscious community or the Kemetic community. You know, so he's the one that kind of brings everybody to the platform to have these discussions and to hype up the individuals. You know, a lot of times people will call him the Don King of the conscious community, because he would like promote and kind of, purposely antagonize certain individuals so they could go at each other. Because again, that makes for great content, because who doesn't like seeing a fight? You know, right. So.
From Zion McGregor, I have parts of a definition for conscious community. Tell me what you would think of this, and then add what you want to add. He defines conscious community as a collective of religious and philosophical perspectives who are united first and foremost by their shared Blackness. And then he lists 5 ideologies under that: Hebrew Israelites, African spiritualists, Kemetic science practitioners, various denominations of Islam, and proponents of agnosticism, atheism, and humanism. What do you think of that definition of conscious community? What would you add?
Yeah, I think it's very much a loosely connected federal community of these ideologies who, when you get to brass tacks, don't really agree on much when it comes to each other. Where they do agree on is their hatred towards white people and this a disdain for white supremacy, and them thinking that Christianity is one of the main agents used by white supremacy to oppress black and brown folk. So most of these ideologies agree on those things. So those stand together on that. But if you take that away from these guys, they will cannibalize each other. Because then they're not as united as they like to claim to be. They're really not. But when it comes to attacking Christianity, they could put, it's the enemy of my enemy is my friend type of thing when it comes to Christianity. So
now, as far as Kemeticism, Dee New has a great article on Cultish, and here's the way she talks about Kemeticism. It encourages people of African descent to return to their ancient Egyptian way of life and religious living, where ancient Egyptian religion is seen as an origin point. Essentially, Kemeticism is the revival or restoration of ancient Egyptian religious practices. What do you think of that, and what would you add?
no, absolutely. And the reason why that's so compelling for black and brown people is because it attempts to answer two existential questions, right? Who am I, right? What's my identity, and what's my agency? What do I do? You know, a lot of us, especially those of us who are, you know, coming of age, you know, pre-teens, teens, we're really trying to figure out, well, who am I? You know, and in my opinion, you know, for black and brown people, that those questions carry a little bit more extra weight because of what has happened to us historically. So we're looking for identity so that we can have agency. And as a Christian, you know, that we believe that the identity is the Imago Dei. You was made in God's image, and you're to live like like Yahweh, and partner with Him to help expand sacred space throughout the world via the Great Commission, and allow everybody to reestablish their Edenic identity.
Sound
right?
real theological right now, bro.
I'm sorry, but but you know, now the Kemetic community, this is their attempt of trying to fill in those gaps. It's like, well, you don't know who you are. Well, we're going to tell you, you're an ancient Egyptian. You was kings, right? You was Pharaoh. You was this amazing people, you know, and but when you really look at it, it really boils down to therapeutic mythology.
Now,
and nothing more than that.
Didn't Polight once claim to be the reincarnated pharaoh of some sort?
No, he definitely calls himself a pharaoh. When he calls himself Nesut, Nesut is a Kemetic title for a pharaoh. But I don't know if he ever considered himself reincarnated.
I thought he was, and I heard he backed away from that claim later. But why does he call himself a pharaoh?
Well, he's a king. He's a self-professed king. And again, it's the therapeutic mythology. If I am royal, then I'm special and I'm important. And if I could convince you of that, then I now can have you be, you know, part of my movement. You know, so that's why, yeah.
So I think Polight is intelligent and articulate, but if you would ask him in a serious way, how are you a king, or what's a king about you? What do you think he would say? Like, how does he understand himself to be a king when he uses that title?
I think he definitely draws a connection from having a understanding of these very ancient teachings. And because he has this understanding, he has awakened to who he really is, which is king. And if you follow him and his teachings, you too can have said awakening, which is kind of very similar to what the Hebrews do, right, in the camps. What's your nationality?
Until that
right,
last
the Great
part,
Awakening.
You sounded like a commercial. You too. You sound like a follower, bro. I gotta check up on you after this interview.
Nah, I'm good. But I'm telling you the way he would, you know, try to convey it.
And the other guys would as well. I mean, young Pharaoh, I don't know what he's up to these days, but young Pharaoh, I guess, assumed he was a pharaoh as well.
I don't know if to the point where Polight did, but he definitely saw himself as a very special, enlightened figure that should be taken serious and should be followed.
For a while, it seemed like he might have been the next generation of Kemetic guys, kind of like the young leader coming.
Oh, he was
into it.
huge. I mean, to the point where he was actually going to speak at the Republican convention. I don't know if you remember that.
CPAC.
CPAC, right?
Yeah, the young conservatives,
Right.
not the National RNC.
He was like,
yeah.
Well, right. My bad.
Yeah, no,
but still,
but you are
huge
right.
platform.
They invited him because they felt like he had some ideas that line up with conservatism, and then at some point, somewhere said, "Hey, do you know what this guy actually says online?" And they realized, "Oh, I guess we better uninvite him." It made the news. It was in the news and everything. You know, so this is
So
like,
yeah, so he definitely was a he had a large platform. Cause a lot of his teachings actually overlap with like QAnon.
So
So
he was, like,
they saw
merging.
themselves exactly.
Is there anyone to replace? And it feels like his reign, pun intended, was short-lived. Young Pharaoh.
Anybody? No, there's definitely been a vacuum since Polight has gone to prison and Farrell has fallen on some tough times.
He kind of melted down, right?
I mean, there's various rumors of what's been happening with him. Some kind of situations with police and things like that. I think he's had some prison time as well.
Is he still active online, young Pharaoh?
I see glimpses here and there, but he's nowhere where he used to be. Like he was definitely the next up.
He was so
after
popular for a
Polight.
while. He started a cooking channel.
He had 7. Like he had rap. He was a rapper, so he had a rapping channel.
Every YouTuber.
He did some mixed. He did mixed martial arts. He had a channel for that.
Okay, didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. He had like 6 or 7 different channels. Like he was his own network.
Kemet Fu.
You know what I mean? He was he was doing it. He was doing it. So, but he got caught up and it fell apart.
Well, this video right here is going to show sort of the way the Kemet on trial debate was actually going to happen. This is kind of some of the promo for it. We're going to watch some of this and get an idea of the lead up for the debate. Because what we're doing is we're going back showing you the cast of characters. Because, guys, this was really a big event when this happened. Now, I'm just talking about one debate a lot because there's footage for it and stuff. But we're also talking about a whole thing going on around it. As you can tell, we're going backward and forward. Let's watch this here. All right, so I'm gonna skip forward a little bit. So you got Tazariak next to Polight here.
Connected than people even know. Like the most important thing at the end of the day is that whether you call yourself Kemetic, Egyptian, Muslim, Israelite, we walk outside this building, that cracker sees us as niggas. Period. That black man, that white man, when he come and arrest us and when he come to do crime to us, he don't say, well, I ain't gonna mess with him because he's Egyptian. I ain't gonna.
As BK said, what combines or unites some of the guys together is just an animosity towards other people, specifically, obviously, the white man. But that's no real foundation to build a community on.
Mess with him because he's Christian. All he sees is a black man, and if you're black, you're a criminal. That's right. Understand? So now what we got to do as a people is put aside these differences and come together. And we got people.
Notice this. This is an interesting thing. If you see that guy's hoodie, I know the drawstring's kind of in the way. It says FOI. That's Fruit of Islam. So you have a Nation of Islam affiliate here next to Tazariak, Hebrew Israelite of the ISUPK. Next to Polight, the standard bearer for the Kemetic element of the conscious community at the time. This is what was happening, and it's still happening to a lesser degree in 2026. It's just not as Super Bowl-ish, if you will.
Like King Simon as well.
Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And as long as we do that, we will be somebody. But if we decide to be separate from each other, we're not. You know, one of the main things that we're doing February.
Now look at this.
That's huge. I forgot how big that was. That was huge, bro.
Oh yeah. Oh, so I said lead up to it, but actually this is the debate itself.
This is the actual debate. Yeah.
That's at the Alhambra Ballroom in Harlem, right?
Yes, sir.
I heard there was at least 1,000 people there.
Oh yeah. I mean, just by this video right here, clearly.
Second at the National Black Theater.
Let me turn this down. I mean, do you guys see this? Then there's a
big,
Moor. Man. If you guys saw the red fez, that was a Moor. So you have multiple religiosities.
You got the Moors. Yeah, you got 5%ers there. Yeah, everything.
There's Sonetta right there. Now, did you watch like all of these? Right now, we're voiceless because I noticed when we have our video on the video, for some reason our audio breaks up a little bit. So we're playing the video. We're kind of talking over it, BK. If everyone's wondering,
Right.
But BK, did you like what percentage of this kind of content were you watching? By the way, who's that? Do you know who that is?
Oh, this guy. What's his name? I think no, that's not him.
Who's that guy?
That's one of the pills. I always forget. I think that's Red Pill.
So they went by Red Pill and what pill? What
was his twin? He had twin brothers. Red Pill, Blue Pill.
Wait, he had 2 twin brothers?
No, it's him and his brother.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's Red Pill and Blue Pill. Yeah.
But that's
this dude. I forgot the guy next to him. Forgot his name, but he was around for a minute.
So what happened to Red Pill and Blue Pill? Do you know?
They falling out with Sa. Like a lot of these guys are really like frenemies for the most part.
Right.
So there'll be constant makeup and fallouts, but they had a real. I guess the last fallout was permanent. So, but they're still doing their thing. They're still just not with Sa Netta.
Is it a case where, for the most part, we just don't hear from these guys after they fall out with Sa Netta?
Well, because Sa Netta is such a big platform. If you're no longer there, for a lot of people, if your purview is Sa Netta, so you're big as long as you're on Sa Netta. But once you leave, out of sight, out of mind. But they still continue.
Who's been successful kind of building their own platform separate, would you say? Now, I know everyone has to in a certain sense, so I'm not trying to disparage anybody who might be smaller. I mean, I'm a smaller content.
Pharaoh was actually pretty big before he got with Sa.
Okay, young Pharaoh, okay. Yeah.
In fact, Sa got him because of his platform. He was already established big dude before that. Yeah.
Polight did well. He was fine, I think.
Yes.
Who else? Let me see.
And to Zariat, he's definitely out here. He's hitting all the big podcasts. So.
So I want to find out one day. I would love to talk to an eyewitness who was a Christian who was there. You know what I mean? Like a Christian who was there at this event. Well, I understand there was multiple events. I understand there's multiple events, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. I know this is 2015, but this almost still looks like 90s New York to me. You know what I mean? Just the style. It feels very Gen X,
Well, I mean, within the Kemetic community, it was very, everybody tried to do. It was like a neo-ethnic African New York. So this community had their own little, style outside of everybody else in New York.
So they would kind of stand out if you saw them along the way.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
These gentlemen, there's Shaka Atmos with his side knot in honor of Horus, I believe.
The Heru lock, right?
The Heru, that's what they call it, of course. And
right. The guy in the blue button up, he's also he has his own shrine. I forgot which shrine.
Oh, really? So he
yeah.
Is he?
He's affiliated with Jabari.
Okay. Wait, is that the one in Phoenix? That's not the guy here, is it? Because there's a guy in Phoenix who has a shrine, William Humphrey.
No, not him. No.
That wasn't him because I know William. So he has more than one. I knew he had one.
Well, there's a network. It's not under him. It's more like they have a network of shrines.
Okay, gotcha. Because the one in Phoenix,
it's not part of Shrine of Ma'at. It's not part of Shrine of Ma'at.
Oh, okay. Because one in Phoenix is actually Shrine of Ma'at in Phoenix.
No. He's not. He has his own. It's just they're affiliated, but it's not part of it. No.
Isn't it funny though? Out of any place, what if I said, guess where the second Shrine of Ma'at is? You'd say Phoenix.
I would not think that at all.
The devil's coming after me. You know this gentleman?
I forgot his name.
But everyone's familiar to you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because there's a number of people that are sort of before my, time that I don't recognize.
Right.
So we're watching this. It's interesting, but why should Christians care? Why should the church care about this? This is not just academic for us. This isn't just keeping track of stuff like it's fiction. Why does this matter, BK?
Well, it matters because, prior to the advent of the internet, a lot of these fringe ideologies, survived on the street corner, on the barbershop, by the bodega. But once people were able to now stream, and go on platforms like YouTube and IG, all of a sudden their audience expanded. So they have much more of a pull on people than ever before. So a lot of people who are not maybe doing well spiritually or have suffered church hurt might run into some of these ideologies and be pulled into these heresies, or at least be the beginnings of people leaving God, because what these guys are really good for is, even though you might not follow them, but it causes them to start having doubts about the gospel. And everybody, has bouts of skepticism in their journey with Jesus, but you're supposed to do something about it. You're not supposed to sit in that skepticism. And unfortunately, a lot of people do. So once the next big crisis happens, they'll pull from those doubts as opposed to pulling from scripture. So.
Yeah, because it's like, you see the parable of the sower and putting different seeds, and you have the situation where the seed is snatched away. I feel like some of this has that function where if you're caught up in the Kemetic stuff, you may or may not stay there. But it always has the function of making you disbelieve the Bible and not trust Jesus Christ and not believe the gospel anymore.
Right.
And so
Paul talked.
Effective.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Paul.
Paul tells Timothy that, that there will come a time when men will not, put up with sound doctrine, but gather a great many teachers to hear what their itching ears want to hear.
Yeah.
So that they'll say things that will resonate with you. Now, the thing is, the heart is deceitful above all things. So just because something resonates doesn't mean that's true.
Right.
But these guys know how to press certain buttons. And because it gets a reaction, you think that reaction corresponds to reality.
Right.
As opposed to doing what the Bible says and test all things.
Speaking of pressing buttons, Ham Sunshine pressed that button for a super chat, as did Jim Green. Thank you both gentlemen very much for the super chats. And I hope that people subscribe to your channel as well, In Context with Jim Green.
What up, Jim Green? What up?
BK, do you know Rob Bourne?
Yeah, I've seen him. He was a 5%. I don't know if he still considers himself. He has great respect for 5%. He will tell you that it was that ideology that really helped him and elevate himself. So, but I don't know if he still consider himself a practitioner of the 120 lessons.
Right.
So,
all right, now I'm gonna play. I think let me see. I think this one right here, if I'm not mistaken, is one where they're outside the debates now. So outside Kemet trial, and they're talking,
okay.
And they have a little bit of conversation. If I'm clicking on the right one, let's see here. Yes. Okay.
Negative confession.
Okay. So in this video, you'll see that gentleman on the left is an ISUPK member, and then I don't know the gentleman in the head wrap. I don't know if you do.
I think he's a rapper.
Okay.
UPK.
And he's also UPK, you believe?
Yeah.
And then of course we have Brother Jabari Osaze right there in the red and black, and he tends to wear those colors. I think we need debates for the significance or something.
Yeah.
And then you'll see a couple other folks here. Let's watch some of this together.
That's a doctrine. That's you saying that, though. As a high priest. That's you saying that. As a Kemetic high priest.
So I like Jabari. He's an intelligent guy. He's articulate. Every time I watch him, even if there's a lot of things he says I think are wrong, I usually almost always learn at least one thing, one true thing. I'm not serious because
Oh, wait a minute. I stand corrected. He's an FOP member.
Oh, FOP for People's Education? Were they around back then? I didn't even know they were around. Okay.
Yep.
For our People's Education. But I want everyone to understand, Jabari is literally claimed to be a high priest of a pagan god. Now, I know he wouldn't put it in those terms. I understand. So this is not intended to be overtly disrespectful or non-caring or anything. But for the Christian, we really have no choice but to understand what he is saying as, I am a priest in a pagan religion. Because he just said, I'm a high priest. And he's talking about Kemetic religion. And understand, Moses was used by God to battle these false ideologies. The book of Genesis even has that in there, as you have often talked about, BK. But here he is saying, I am a high priest. But ladies and gentlemen, the book of Hebrews tells us we only have one high priest, Jesus, not Jabari.
Amen. Sure, brothers. Let it burn. Believe you don't have to stand on. What ground you stand on.
So he asks him, what do you stand on? Hey, the Hebrew Israelites asking a good question. What do you stand on, Jabari? Meaning, what is your foundation? What is the foundation for truth? Do you think Kemet can provide a good foundation, BK? For truth?
It's very hard because when people claim to be a Kemetic practitioner, they're basically what's known as a reconstruction. But so much material we have when it comes to the actual Kemetic worldview. And then also you have to say, well, at what time period are you subscribing to? Are you pre-dynastic? Are you Old Kingdom? Because depending on what time frame of Kemet, we're talking about different pantheons. We're talking about triads of gods being connected. We're having like mishmashes of different deities. So when you say you're a Kemetic practitioner, we need more nuance because there's so many different iterations of being a practitioner of Kemet. So just to say you're a priest, you got to say more than just that. Like what kingdom, what pantheon, what
city?
triad,
even what city?
Right, city.
Memphis?
Right.
You represent the Memphis?
What creation myth do you? Yeah. Is it Atum? Is it Amun? Is it Ra? Is it, you know what I mean? It's like there's so many different. So yeah, it's iterations.
It's almost like, in DC Comics they have Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3,
Earth Prime,
Earth 4.
Earth 1, right.
So it's
right,
like, which one? Because you could say I'm Flash, but what if you're one of the evil Flashes? Or it's like, but that's what you have going on. Now, I know what he would say. Well, that's like your Christianity with your denominations and your... No, it's not. It's that.
Nope.
We're talking same... we're talking different types of dogs when we talk about different denomination, different types of cats, meaning they can still breed with each other, as it were. You know what I mean? It's the same species. Right. With Kemet, different ball of wax.
Stand on my eye. I stand on my eye. That's what I stand on. If I had to give it to you in a nutshell.
And to go through my eye, and to get to my eye, who you got to go through?
To get through
I mean, like I'm talking about when it speaks about the whole, because that whole thing they speak about making it to the king. They got a heavenly realm.
Making it to the king.
Osiris sits on a heavenly realm. No.
I'll show you. I'll show you. Osiris. If you say Osiris, you don't know. So what I'll show you.
There. So this is Jabari's classic things. He likes to quibble, right? Because Osiris is, the Greek, the Greco-Roman name of the deity. Like the proper name would be Aset. So because he didn't say it the way the ancient Kemetic people would say, allegedly, then you don't know what you're talking about. So this props him up now as teacher. He loves to quibble with you. Like if you say, Horus as opposed to Heru, he'll be quick to be like, you don't know what you're talking about because you're calling him this. So, you need to listen to me because I'm the teacher. He loves doing that. That's something he always does.
And, Jabari he's smart enough that if he's being a careful listener, I think he would be able to discern what the man's actual question is. And he could
knows
say,
what he's saying.
Yeah. Because Jabari could just be charitable in that instance and say something like,
oh, you must mean...
Yeah.
Right.
And for example, like, how do we get to a pleasant afterlife or something like that? Like, because he heard him say king, and he might have been, and so then he's like, well, you don't know. But he could have, something like that. How do you get to the fields? Wherever you need to go. And he could...
Do what? Right.
Yeah,
right.
And then he could tell him, well... You're going to weigh your heart. There's a feather involved. There's negative confession. There's a lot he could say.
Right.
There's a hippopotamus somewhere in there. He could say what he needs to say to explain that and give it to him. But instead, it's like, oh, because you said this. And it's a kind of a common thing because whether or not he's right about X, Y, Z, he can get you sort of on some of the triviality of specifics within Egypt because he knows most people aren't studying ancient Egypt as much. But that doesn't mean he's ultimately right. You know what I mean? But it's interesting.
It's a tactic. It's the death by 1,000 quibbles. You know what I mean? Like he if he could get you on these little things, it would make it appear as if he has the high ground in this kind of discussion.
And Jabari is smart enough. He's smart enough and has enough information. He could do that to you. That's why he does come off as one of the better debaters, because he can do that. And it looks like you just didn't know what you're talking about the whole time, and that's the end. But that he really answer the important questions. And I think that's why the Bantu debate, now I know we're skipping ahead a little bit. I don't think we're going to have time to show footage for that. The Bantu debate was important because Jabari couldn't really do that with Bantu. So they ended up talking about more significant things, especially in some of the Q&A afterwards. And it really revealed some really bizarre and problematic and inconsistent elements within Jabari's framework, I think. Now, I know we're jumping ahead, but I'm working on an article here. And can I read a little bit about the debate that took place between Bantu and Jabari?
Yeah,
and
go
then
for it.
You could comment here and tell me what you think. Okay, let me see here. All right. Read this paragraph and then you tell what you think. This in-person debate, the thesis, by the way, was, is Christianity the white man's religion? This in-person debate between Dr. Vince L. Bantu and Brother Jabari Osaze of the Shrine of Ma'at took place October 2019 at Epiphany Church in Philadelphia. I traveled from Phoenix to partake. A colleague, Alfredo Valentin, from New York, traveled from there. Valentin, that's BK Apologist, everybody, first saw Kemetic literature promoted on Brooklyn's Fulton Street. Then he saw men like Dr. Ray Higgins and General Sarin Suit Seti bombard the internet with Kemet. In August 2019, Valentin jumped into the online fray himself. He publishes YouTube videos and Substack articles under the name BK Apologist and is now, this is me saying this because I think it's true, the most prolific Christian critic of Kemeticism. And as you can see by today's interview, the most knowledgeable. Shout out to Adam Coleman, D. New, Miss Titus, lots of other great people, obviously, but I got to give BK his flowers. Valentin's review of the Bantu-Osaze debate, quote, it was a powerful rebuke to the conscious community as they were delivered a blow to their worldview that they have yet to recover from. So that's what BK said about that debate. But let me just read something to be a little fair here. Under Osaze's Instagram post on the debate, so this is the Kemetic side, there was a different opinion. Commenters believed Osaze won this debate hands down, thanked him for his scholarship, and stated that he represented the Kemetic legacy honestly and truthfully. And then I talk about how Bantu and Osaze in their own ways, and when I say Osaze, I'm referring to Brother Jabari, they're well stocked as far as for this discussion. And this made that 2019 debate at Epiphany the most high profile in-person Christian versus Hebrew Israelite debate. And I just got to say, I understand it was earlier and I understand it had less people involved, but my goodness, the difference between a Kemetic guy taking on a Christian who knows what he's talking about versus a Hebrew Israelite is such a massive difference. If you watch those debates with Bantu and Jabari versus some of the circus that happened with some of the Kemet on trial stuff. I'm not saying nothing good happened or everyone, I'm just saying it's night and day. The thing is, though, for a long time, Christians were absent from the conversation. But follow up on the Bantu-Osaze debate, because I would think we would all clearly mark that as the most high-profile Christian versus Kemet debate that ever happened.
Yeah, I mean, and to your point, you know, when the Kemet on trial thing was happening, there really wasn't any substantial Christian Kemet debate at the time. But thanks to shout out to Chris Broussard, you know, he definitely wanted to change that, and he wanted to make sure that that there was an opportunity for well-read Christians to have a say in these kind of back and forths.
Shout out
so
to
a lot of
Chris
times
Broussard.
it's right, absolutely. Because a lot of times it's just one-sided. You know, you just beat up on the Christian, and we never hear the Christian have a response. So the original iteration of the debate was supposed to be a team debate. I don't know if many people knew that, but it was supposed to be like Dr. Mason, Damon Richardson, Bantu, and Adam Coleman versus Polight, Shaka Almos, I think maybe Garfield. I'm not sure, and a couple other people. So the original iteration was a team debate, and it was supposed to happen in Brooklyn, and A.R. Bernard's church in Brooklyn. So you know, a whole bunch of different things happened, and then I guess they reached out to Jabari, and Jabari agreed, much to the chagrin of other people in the Kemetic community. A lot of people didn't like the fact that he decided to make this deal to debate over at Epiphany. And so it ended up being Bantu and Jabari, and it was a 3-round debate. The first round was, I think, is Christianity the white man's religion? The second round was, is Jesus a copy of the Egyptian deities? And then the last round was, what's more conducive to the black community, Kemeticism or Christianity? And Bantu, I mean, he 3-0'd him. He 3-0'd him. In fact, in the third round, Jabari acquiesced. He actually said, I mean, you was there. He said, I have no plan for the black community. He literally says this. He actually says that. And it was a wild thing because, again, as great of an orator Jabari is, we just can't take that away from him. He really knows how to pull an audience in. Mm-hmm. It was difficult for him because he was actually talking with Christians in the audience that actually are well-read. In fact, there was a point, I'm sure you remember, he brought out a Wikipedia article, mm-hmm. and everybody started chuckling. Mm-hmm. And I think that threw him. You know, it's like, no, you're not talking to just, you know, a bunch of naming and claiming prosperity Christians. Like, these people read books. We know what research methodology is. Wikipedia ain't in. And he got upset. I remember him saying, oh, well, if you're looking for a source, go take the bus downtown and go to the museum if you're looking for a source. I'm like, what? Why you get all snippy? You getting all snippy for?
That part was funny. I forgot. He was talking about just what it's going to cost you is a bus ticket to get on the bus. He got a little snippy.
He got snippy.
Go to the museum. That'll fix it. Yeah.
He got a little snippy. I'm like, bro, what's wrong? But that told me that it was getting under his skin because he thought he could do his little razzle dazzle and it was going to work, but not here.
Speaking of razzle dazzle, do you remember the beginning of the debate when he's all?
Nah, I don't remember that. He did the incense thing?
No, his staff. He waved it over
really? I don't remember that.
Yeah, he did
I don't remember.
Thing where he and then remember because he gave a shout out to Baba Haru, I think, or the one. What's the guy?
Yeah, Bob. That's his spiritual father.
And right in that time, he did like a thing, like a blessing or something like that.
And he heckled too. He heckled Bantu, Baba Haru.
He heckled.
Rest in peace, Baba Haru. He
did heckle him. What did he say? I forgot.
But he just blurted out something. I'm like, bro, come on, don't do that.
Yeah. He was heckling when he was doing it.
Your boy's getting beaten, so you felt like you had to say something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he's an older man too, so it's kind of odd.
Yeah. But then the Q&A though, oh my gosh, shout out to Adam Coleman. Adam beat the brakes off of Jabari on the Q&A. Woo, crazy. But now it was an amazing time, and it was finally somebody who was credible, who could go toe to toe with Jabari, and it was bad for Jabari. And that was the first time people saw some chinks in the armor of these alleged Kemetic practitioners, and hasn't really been the same since, to be honest with you. So,
yeah, no, it hasn't, and I feel like the Kemetic guys, not all of them, but they have a little more. They show a little more respect to the Christians, it seems like, in my view, than they used to. Oh,
Rome said, yeah.
Okay, you got to say, because I think he's right. Man, our audience is keeping us. I need to have some of these folks jump on the panel.
Nah, Rome's been following since we've been here, bro. He's OG. Rome, shout out to Rome. OG, for real.
Were you at the debate too, Rome? Was he? Rome, were you there?
I don't know if he was at the. I don't know if he was.
Because that's when you and I first met. So I drove up with Adam and David Wood and Marcus Webb. I'm trying to remember if there was anyone else in the van. And we met, and that's where we met Tazariak and his guy with him.
Yeah. This brother Brian was there. It's the first time I met him there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
that was a cool time, man.
It was amazing. I mean, it was just And there was such a fallout, right? I think Jerome's saying that too. They were doing damage control for weeks. Like the rest of the community was upset with Jabari.
Yeah.
Like Unc was giving him the business for weeks. Like they were not cool for a long time. They patched things up now, but for a long time, because they didn't like the fact that, because they themselves, by doing that, they're admitting that he took an L.
Right. But honestly,
and it was the first time, it was the first time they.
Who could have done better than Jabari, though, out of the conscious community, in my opinion? Who would have done better? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, they would have liked Polight only because he's more, flashy, more charismatic, whereas Jabari tries to come across as a scholarly historian. He wants to be taken like very serious, where Polight would have been more of, performative, and he would have been able to be, he'll be able to weasel in and out of stuff. Whereas Jabari, because he's trying so hard to be credible, it's harder for him to do stuff like that.
But I think with the audience that was there, I think Jabari's approach would have been much better than Polight's, in my view. Because some of Polight's stuff only works if the crowd is into it, and this is just my little opinion.
Right.
Maybe
that's true. That's true.
So I feel
that crowd. You're right. The crowd would not have been right.
Yeah, they wouldn't have been. They wouldn't have been following and not just like bias or something, because there's all kinds of people there. But they wouldn't have just been like, oh, it wouldn't have worked. Some of the tricks and stuff. Let's look at some video. Now this is going back again. So we're not going to be showing the Bontu-Jabari debate, because I've reviewed that before, and so does BK. Mm-hmm. So we're not. We did need to talk about it, but I want to go back so kind of show some of the conscious community stuff. Now, this is part where, if I got the right spot, you might want to. I don't know. Oh wow, really? If I'm trying to find this right spot, you might want to. I don't know. Cover your ears on this part. Hold on. Let me see if this is it here.
Bro, I'm from Brooklyn. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So this is it. Okay. So on this part, you guys might want to cover your ears. Okay. I'm playing this because I think it's important for you to see. But this, if you've noticed, we haven't really played much footage from the Kemet on trial debate. This right here is like a short that somebody on the Hebrew Israelite side put together of General Hashar bringing out some spots, like in the coffin texts, that are very homoerotic. And as you can imagine, that may not go over well with everybody in the audience. I don't know how many people who enjoy Vogue are in the audience, if you know what I'm saying. And so this part's about a minute long, and there is some language in it. So again, if you're at work, you're with your family, go ahead and watch out now, okay? But let's play this right now. Here we go. This is General.
Spell 635. Ray has no power over me, for I am he who takes away his breath. A tomb has no power over me, for I calculate between his buttocks.
So that's General Hashar, and what he's saying, this is in the Kemet on trial debates. He's basically saying, look at this material. How is this going to be good for the community? This is the material found within the Egyptian literature. And it's on the screen there. BK, I don't know if you want to comment briefly about that.
So these spells are found in the Perep Heru, right? The coming forth by day, which is of these spells throughout time. They first, you had the pyramid texts, right? So these spells will be written inside the pyramids. Then from the pyramids, it went into the coffins. That's why they were called the coffin texts. And then from the coffin text, it came into these plates, these scrolls that you would put in the coffin, so that the deceased, once he was activated, he could traverse through the duat with these spells to make it through. So this is one of the spells. Now, the way they would explain it is, it wouldn't be it wasn't a romantic form of intimacy.
It sounded more like prison style.
Right. It's more about being domineering. The spell is I dominate these deities so that I can now make it through. Because you have to understand, there is no atonement in the Book of the Dead. There's no grace, right? So only those who are already perfect make it through. That's why you have these negative confessions. I have never done this. I have never done that. Because if you have done any of these things, you don't make it.
Right.
That's something
that's why you got to say all the stuff you didn't do.
Right. And that's something that they don't want to tell you, because so the people of ancient Kemet understood that there's no grace when it comes to these gods. So I have these spells, these workarounds to get to heaven. So this is one of the spells saying that I'm in charge. I'm dominating. So what better way to dominate in their view is to be able to dominate in a sexual manner. So it's not romantic, but it's very, like you said, prison relationships.
Mi vida loca. As Farron of Cosmic Ontogeny says, that's quite the spell.
One of many.
Billy Bars says, "What's up, vocab? What's up, BK? I'm from BK2. God bless."
What up, Billy?
Well, if you're from Bushwick, he said he hates people from Bushwick, so.
Okay, that's what's up.
No, I'm joking. I'm saying you don't like him. He's from a different neighborhood. What neighborhood?
No, we good.
Well, I'm just making a joke. I'm just causing beef where there is none.
Right. No, we good.
As the devil does. I mean, come on. I gotta live up to my name.
That's funny.
So, my man FCD says YouTube's popping off at advertisements. Well, they help support the channel, but I tell you what, I'm gonna see if YouTube will let me give away some membership gifts, and if it does, then I'll make it up for the advertisements. But I don't know if it's gonna let me. Okay, I just sent 5 free gift memberships to make up for them, and guess what? For Minute Cosmogeny or Ontogeny, you got some. Billy Bars got some. Darth got some, and Truth Defenders. Lewis, he got some. SBT got some. So you have free channel membership. If you didn't get one, just become a channel member. It really helps the show go. BK, do you have channel memberships over there at BK Apologist YouTube? Yeah.
I don't even know how to use that. I have no idea, man. I probably do, but I don't know how to use it.
They do help. And if you can, you do have super chats, right?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure if you qualify for super chats, I'm pretty sure you can do channel memberships. And then you give people certain things early or different things they don't have. And then you give them little logos, like mine are Thundercat logos that people get to let you know they're a channel member. But you should try to set it up. It won't be, it's not going to change your life, but it's one more thing that does help your channel subsist. So if you can do it, because this is, again, niche ministry, and we need the support. So I'm going to play this video. And we're going to watch it all the way through. There's things interjected in here that we didn't put, but we're going to watch this together from the debate.
The call to text, spell 635. Ray has no power over me, for I calculate between his buttocks.
Get him a body bag! Yeah! All right.
Just think about the gay ancestors, our history, and our struggle.
Then I will swallow for myself the penis of Ray and the head of Osiris.
Hey, that clip right there, that is kind of funny though, bro. In this context, I don't know who that is, but this is a funny little short.
Actually, there's a
break it
like
down.
I said, there's various different, for lack of a better term, denominations within Kemeticism. So there is a branch of Kemeticism that subscribes to a more, how can I say, effeminate interpretation that they live. So there is a faction of the Kemet community that is involved in some alphabet type of situation.
Did you say a faction? How'd you spell that? How's that spelled? Faction?
Different denomination of Kemeticism that's lends itself to more, flamboyant expressions.
So it's Vogue on Saturday night, and My Hot on Sunday.
So he's also an actual practitioner. He actually is. He's not like being that wasn't a sketch. Like that was him actually.
That's not a character.
No,
that's a guy.
No, that's a guy actually teaching. So yeah.
He's teaching all right. Little George Michael. I want to be your father.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's funny.
He thought it was a game.
Okay, BK, how would they explain, do you know this one? I will swallow for myself. I'm not going to finish the sentence.
Right. Again, it's showing that they are becoming, because in order to be able to get through the duat, one has to transform into one of these creator gods. Fun fact, none of the goddesses help you make it to heaven. Because in the Kemetic pantheon, the goddesses are not creator gods, right? So when they say the black woman is God, and they're not, they can assist the creator gods to copulate creation, if you know what I mean.
They're consorts, but they're not.
Exactly. So you have to transform into one of these creator gods to make it through the underworld. So what better way than to ingest the gods themselves? So
is that what you do? So you're going to go to the underworld. You got to make it through. But to do that, you yourself have to transform
into one of the creator gods.
Into the creator god, so you can make it through. So then you can experience.
That also goes for women. If you are a woman who is well-to-do and actually have this book of spells, you have to change gender to make it to heaven. Okay. Now, once you get over there, you can revert back to being a female, but you have to become a male deity to make it.
All right.
Yeah.
Keep on. Okay. So this, I'm about to go grab this. Here, BK, I'm gonna grab something. Can you? Well, no, but it's right there on the shelf. Just give me 1 second. So
sure.
I want to show something about that. Can you, as tastefully as you can, talk a little bit about sexuality in Egyptian religion in general, as far as all this stuff goes? Because that's kind of where the Hashar clip landed us.
Right. Okay, hold on. Let me see. I think I got something here.
We can't both take a break.
No. I got it. Wait. Just let me so again, it's not it's interesting because they were not against you being the aggressor in same-sex relations. Only if you were the receiver. All right, it was frowned upon in being the receiver.
That reminds me of in Sopranos, there's one of the mob guys that it came out that he was playing for the other team.
Right.
And Paulie was so scandalized that he was not just playing for the other team, but was the receiver in the relationship. And so it was like doubly scandalized. But what I would have grabbed was the Gospel of Thomas. And I'm trying to grab it real quick here.
Right. I know you're talking about. I know.
Yeah. So let me see if where did it go? I got my Gnostic Bible here. What do you want to say about the connection between Gnosticism and some of this Kemetic religion?
Oh, I mean, the point I'm making is actually very much within Gnostic literature that the Gospel of Thomas. I mean, I don't want to spoil it. I know you want to bring up the thing with Mary.
I want to read
Jesus,
it from the official text, but yeah, go ahead.
So Jesus tells Mary that, in order for her to make it, she has to become a man, which will coincide with what we see in the Purat Heru, that a woman, which is very interesting because these guys are the same people that tell you about, black women empowerment, the black woman is God. But in order to make it to heaven, you can't be a woman. You have to transfer yourself into a male deity to make it. So, And the Gospel of Thomas concurs with that idea.
I mean, do you think this is why a lot of the folks that say they're with Kemetic religion don't even seem to actually really believe it or practice it?
Well, they don't know. See, a lot of stuff that they're taught isn't ancient Kemeticism. A lot of stuff that's being taught to them actually comes from Greco-Roman fan fiction about Kemeticism. You know, I've done a lot of videos on, you know, the whole Hermes Trismegistus. You know, because there was a point where no one could decipher the hieroglyphics. So what a lot of these guys would do is just make it up. They would just make it up. And so, and unfortunately, once the Rosetta Stone was deciphered, you know, we were able to go back to some of these hieroglyphic texts, and they realized they were completely way off. So there was a split within academia at that time. So you have the Egyptologists, who were the ones who actually deciphered the text and realized, okay, what we read was wrong. We got to go back to the drawing board. And then you had the Egypt sophicists, who said, no, we like the fan fiction that we made. We're going to stick with it, right? And unfortunately, a lot of the information that a lot of the Kemetic community spews forth comes from the Egypt sophicists and not the Egyptologists.
What's crazy about that is there's a similar thing within Mormonism, because Joseph Smith, when he was in Kirtland, Ohio, one of these guys who got antiquities from Egypt came around and had like the mummy, and the Mormon church at the time actually bought the mummy, which included, or the coffin or whatever it was, which included a scroll, which then Joseph Smith, using his gift of translation that God had given him supposedly, translated it and made it the Book of Abraham in, not the Book of Mormon, but in the thing connected with it, which is in the Pearl of Great Price. Within the Pearl of Great Price, there's multiple books. And so you can actually open up the Pearl of Great Price and you'll see drawings that clearly look like ancient Egyptian scenes. And he'll say something like, this is Isaac on the altar with Abraham.
Right.
Well, anyways, that scroll was found. The Mormon church tries to say it was burned up, but wasn't. And it was translated because the Rosetta Stone, which Napoleon soldiers found, and was later translated by Samuel Champlain or something like that, Champlain, whatever, and figured out that's not what it says. But back to the Gospel of Thomas. So this one's translated by Robert Grant and David Noel Friedman. Saying 112. Listen to this, everyone. And you'll see similarities to what Alfredo just said. Simon Peter said to them, let Miriam go away from us, for women are not worthy of life. Jesus said, lo, I will draw her, so that I will make her a man, so that she too may become a living spirit, which is like you men. For every woman who makes herself a man will enter into the kingdom of heaven. And that's literally how the Gospel of Thomas closes.
Yep.
Would you say
because,
you
again,
see some similarities there?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You know, you have to change your gender to make it. When you look at the Book of the Dead, like you need these spells to transfer yourself into Ra. You know, so yeah. In a weird way, the Gospel of Thomas is a high point because this is the last logia, which is the technical word for saying. Because the Gospel of Thomas is just 114 logia or sayings of Jesus, or 112, I'm sorry, rather. And the last one, it ends with, I'm going to make Mary a man so she can go to heaven. The eschatology, the climax of it is the obliteration of the concept of sex. I don't mean sexual relations. I mean of what we might sometimes now say gender. That's what it is. And you say, that's what's going on. Now, a lot of times what they try to do is they'll try to make it symbolic or something like that. But I think the evidence indicates that it's not symbolic. And the commentators who are progressive scholars, they're not evangelical Christians or conservatives or anything like that, they say we might be tempted to take this notion symbolically, but then it says, were it not for the existence of Gnostic parallels. So they give other examples where that thing actually happened, and it was clear that it wasn't symbolic. So it's saying that you can't just make it symbolic. For example, they give a parallel here
from the Gospel of Mary, where it says, the house of God is reserved for the spiritual ones alone. When they come, where they cast off their garments and all become bridegrooms, having been made male by the virginal spirit. So you're like, oh, okay, well, that's real. So now these are Gnostic Gospels. Now, that's why when you watch Dan Brown's Da Vinci Code or whatever with Tom Hanks, you should be like, nah, man, these shouldn't have been included. First of all, Thomas was dead. Second of all, I don't even think you need the Holy Spirit to know that Jesus didn't say that. I think you can just know.
Let me read this. This is from an actual scholar, Catherine M. Cooney. It's Gender Transformation in Death, a case study of coffins from the Ramesside period, Egypt. According to ancient texts, literate and educated Egyptians believed that creation and regeneration specifically belonged to the male gender. Men were taught to be responsible for offspring from a sexual union, not women. Egyptian mythologies dealing with the rebirth after death were also highly masculinized. In the ancient Egyptian mindset, only male divine beings such as Atum, Osiris, or Re had access to the powers of creation or resurrection. Goddesses were believed to be protective vessels.
So there is a lot here. Let me just, there's like one more, I think, video is going to try to show. Let me see where it is here. That's not it, because that's not what we're talking about. Oh, I had one other video I was going to try to play. Let me see if I can get it up real quick. Because there's one other. But what a very interesting thing we've been looking at. Well, a lot we didn't get to see, but I think it's very, very important nonetheless to see. Yeah, this part's interesting right here with Polight, part where you have Divine Prospect take him on. So just to give you a sense of the actual presentations at that time, Divine Prospect, aka Ron Shields, he labeled his the indictment of Brother Polight. And so I just want to show you a sense of the presentations. Let me skip forward a little bit here. There you go.
Hold on. The dynamic period lasted about 6,000 BC until 300 BC. These dynastic periods were divided into four main groups: the Old Kingdom, Middle Kingdom, and the Empire Dynasty. Now, they just finished getting on us about chronology. But here's Dr. John Henry Clark saying that, Egypt is much older than what the white Egyptologists tell me. Next slide, let's go. I didn't get a chance to go in with my second, but if y'all want to know about the Exodus, which they didn't touch yet, I want you to go watch this movie called Patterns of Exodus. I had a video clip for fair use, educational purposes. I was going to play the clip, then they give me a chance to cut my time. It's all good. I want you to go watch this movie. Now put that to bed. Next, let's go.
So that's about 12 minutes. Can't play the whole thing. I just wanted to give you a sense of the flavor. And I also wanted to point out Ron Shields is using evangelical apologetic resource there. Patterns of Evidence is the evangelical Christian production. Have you seen Patterns of Evidence?
Yes, I have.
And I'm glad he's using it because it's good material. And Ron Shields actually will often find some decent sources. And so, look, I try to give folks credit. And I've seen Ron grow over the years. I think I've seen Jabari grow in various ways over the years. Hopefully I've grown. Hopefully you've grown. We're trying to grow as we go along and mature. And I want to still debate people, but I don't know, man. More and more I get into 2026, I look at the horizon, I really do want to have some more serious sit-downs and discussions where it's fine, we can entertain the people, there can be some showmanship, but where that's really not the main focus, where it really is trying to get to the bottom of things, or at least advance along more, move the ball along for a better understanding of truth. And I think a guy like Ron, for example, would be a great guy to do that with. BK, looking forward, what about you in that arena? And what do you think the talks between Christians and Kemetic types can be going forward? What's a positive?
I mean, it's hard to have those kind of conversations on social media, only because, unfortunately, people don't see social media as the real world, right? It's a fantasy place where everybody gets to be not themselves. So it's very hard to have those kind of conversations because people really unfortunately, a lot of people are, and this goes for believers too. You know, they become very caricatures of themselves because their main focus is more on likes and clicks as opposed to having conversations of substance. So it will be difficult. I feel like maybe, you know, during certain conferences or maybe just offline, just phone conversations, but to actually have one-on-one or even group discussions online, it really depends on the type of people, their temperament. You know, I'm not saying that it can't happen, but the more and more cartoonish social media has become, the harder it is to have those kind of conversations.
It can definitely be that way. I know it doesn't have to be that way. Real quick, let me give an acknowledgement to Brother Torres. We got PR in the house ×2 for the super chat. Brother Torres, thank you. And I'm going to come back to what you just said, BK. But I do got to real quick put this up, if that's okay, brother, which is Alan Torres. Oh, wait, that's the wrong thing. Alan Torres. Hold on. That's I do want to talk about that. Hold on, but that's the wrong thing. Alan Torres, my brother who just gave the super chat, is helping make this happen, which is the UNLV trip. This relates to the paper. I'm going to be presenting at the American Academy of Religion. I'm going to play a little video on that here and talk about what that means.
Share their insights at a major conference. Travel and conference fees are needed to bring their research to life. Your support can cover these costs and amplify vital voices. Help vocab spread their message. Donate now. Help vocab share.
Now, I understand it says there. It's because it's an AI video, and so it said there instead of just him, like vocab is a group or something. But if you look at the pinned comment at the top of this, you'll see it says, invest in scholarship, support my University of Nevada, Las Vegas American Academy of Religion paper. Because some of the stuff we're talking about, and there's a GoFundMe link for you to click on, I'm going to be talking about at the American Academy of Religion, which is like a 10,000 member association of religious scholars. I'll be listed as independent scholar. I'm not, published by academic publisher. I don't work for a university, but they list a person like me as independent scholar. But it's good to have a voice at a place like this. So I'm going to actually talk about some of the history from 2005 to 2025 is the 20-year span of online and interactions that have been offline as well, kind of like BK was talking about, because my thesis is they crisscross and intersect, and even more so. And both really, when you're talking about the 21st century, are real life, for lack of a better term, just different spheres sort of the person. It's not a clean bifurcation. Right. Well, that's digital or that's virtual and that's real. And so it's interesting the way these things intersect. For example, all the debates we've talked about, there's an intersection between online and then face to face. For example, you might have the discussions begin in online and in physical debate, or there's a physical debate like the Jabari debate with Bantu, and then a lot of the reviews are online. Or the biggest Christian and Hebrew Israelite debate that probably happened was probably James White and Rakah, and that was strictly digital. That was online. It was a virtual, in the sense of video debate. They weren't in person. The biggest in-person one was probably the series that we did actually there at Washington Square last summer. But that was a difference between 2016 to just 2025 before you had one that magnitude that was in person like that. So that is happening. It's going to be at UNLV, and I'm presenting a paper on it, and some of the research is from there. But shout out to Alan for supporting it. So, BK, I have been able to become friends with some of the Kemetic guys, and I feel like some of them are a little more open to Christianity than maybe they were 10 years ago. I feel like the environment, this is just me being positive, but I feel it's true, is not as poisonous as it was. Because I feel like people are getting older. Some of them are maturing. And I feel like they understand maybe they were too close-minded in the past. I'm not saying everyone's knocking down the door to become a Christian, but
I think that's partly true. But I think also is Christians have gotten better at articulating the gospel online as well.
Amen. Yeah.
And we're giving more of a robust articulation of the gospel that's becoming harder and harder to defend against. Because we are scholarly as well. We come with scholarship as well. We have a research methodology, and the more we're doing that, it it's harder and harder for them to bring the same arguments because I feel like many of us have done a really great job at moving these objections off the table.
Amen.
Right? Because the idea of the apologist isn't that I'm smarter than you, I rebuff your claim, therefore come to Jesus. It's more about, all right, this argument you have about not following Jesus no longer works. Let's put that to the side. Now what you're going to do, right? Because our end game is to clear the table so that you can see the gospel clearly. So there is no more objections, right? So I feel like we've gotten better at that. You know, now I feel like there needs to be more of us online, to be quite frankly, with you, because you know the fight for souls are happening within smartphones. You know, if you go like Times Square at noonday, you see and just look at people, everybody's doing this.
Yeah, even when they're sitting beside a person face to face, they're doing that.
Their whole life is on that screen. So as Christians, we have to try to grab some of that real estate on that screen. So there needs to be more apologists who are online. And you might not do it in the official capacity as me or vocab, but, you know, on your IG page, on your Facebook, on your Snapchat, you know, start becoming more, I don't want to say aggressive, but more assertive with your faith. Because these guys are making great inroads and helping people dismantle their faith. So we need more Christians to jump on digitally to defend the gospel. We need that.
Amen, amen, and amen. Thank you, BK, for joining. Everyone, please subscribe at BK Apologist. He does wonderful work, as well as check him out on Substack. Help him become a full-time Christian apologist. We need people like him. He's a bivocational brother in a way right now, much like myself, and I would love to see what he could do if he was fully funded in this ministry. BK, keep up the good work, and then I got to make an announcement here. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. You've been very generous and gracious with your time as well as with your knowledge.